I'm very now as an entrepreneur in a way that I left my career, 18 years working in financial derivatives, in FX, interest rates, and so on. And I come out with this University of Uncertainty, which is where I am doing my work as of currently. I would like to incentivize or be the catalyst in a way to make people think about the prevailing assumptions. Why is the normal distribution not the chi-square? And above all, to have these interdisciplinary insights that is beyond the mathematics. We actually need to understand the data, for example, as interpretations. There's an ontology in there that we need to understand beyond the techniques, but also like even the philosophical, psychological, all these kind of different perspectives that we need to align, which then helps to connect the dots. Now, why I got into the Bayesian thinking, which technically speaking is the Bayesian inference, but then there is a bit of translation, starting with AI community of let's now start to be rational by implying Bayesian inference into the way we think to be rational, be driven by the data, so update our beliefs based on what we see, and have all these kind of ways to understand the world. And I got very enthusiastic with that because I immediately saw like a certain limitation. So you only be able to go beyond what we are using once we understand the limits. So well, I'm saying that we need to understand so we can actually go beyond to then have a different model applied in different contexts. Again, when it comes to all the mathematics and the models that I come across, and we all come across in different shapes or forms in our lives, they work well until they don't. So, and when they stop working is actually when we need them the most. So this is where I come with the difference between being objective versus being subjective. And the claim here is that being objective in terms of using models and using mathematics, it goes well in terms of innovation. I call it kind of horizontal innovation, which is a bit of marginal. But the subjectivity, where it's come really like, say, creativity and so on, I call that the vertical innovation that creates like the leaps of the innovation in terms of imagination. We understand more of each other. That the Bayesian thinking is about horizontal innovation and not the vertical innovation. I can say there's like three curses with the Bayesian thinking. And the first one is that the process of updating, say, your statistical distribution is somehow based on the facts and the data. It is based on the historicals. The second fact of what I mentioned as the limitation is that the Bayesian thinking is a passive process in a way that it's updating our kind of beliefs or kind of the statistical distribution based on the data that it stumbles on us. So once you start to update your distributions or you update your beliefs, it always going to be based on the priors, right? So it's going to have this self-fulfilling prophecy. As the things have already started in the wrong place, you start to collect data in a way to kind of start to make that evidence, and it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, and that it can be seen, and that comes out then in terms of exercising these impossible scenarios. So that's where I mean, like the uncertainty, the element that requires like a different ways to see the world. So prevailing the assumptions, and that is like obviously critical in terms of any model, but also like how you understand the data itself. Connecting the dots, the triangulation. This is something that Madan, I really got attention when he started to mention that regardless of the data, that is more and more data, it doesn't mean that actually have more clarity. You actually need to have, when it comes to the decision in terms of marketing or in terms of trading and so on, you actually need to have that triangulation or understanding like the comparison, and then it becomes more a judgment more than like a science in terms of objectivity. And that's what I call the data ontology, because the data itself has a different ways to be interpreted for different ways to make analysis of the same data, and we're achieving different conclusions. And obviously the last one is about exercising beyond the logical, beyond the deductive thinking, which is mostly like where the Bayesian is coming from, to exercise, say, the abstract or the critical or creativity, and why not even philosophical explorations or what the meaning is, what we are doing here.